Now bringing in Texas Ad Commissioner Sid Miller, who's joining us to talk about the state and federal response. Commissioner Miller, thank you for your time.
Glad to be here.
Let's start with this. What can you tell us about the known case and what the response looks like today?
Well, we have a positive case in South Texas. We knew it was coming. We started this battle 20 months ago in southern Mexico. The only method that we're fighting it with is sterile flies, which do not work. We've released over 7 billion sterile flies, and we have more cases today than when we started. So it's simply not working. It's insanity doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We have a program that developed by the USDA called the SWAS program, SWASS, Screwworm Adult Suppression System, which is a fly bait. We've used that in the past. It works by killing 95% of the adult screwworm flies. For some reason, the USDA does not want to use that. They want to use exclusive sterile flies. We're not going to have enough sterile flies for 2.5 years. So if they stick with that plan, we're going to be totally infested all over the state with screwworm flies this summer. We need to implement the SWAS program.
Is there something that Texas can do? Can Texas maybe introduce its own version of the SWAS program?
I'm working with the Speaker's office and just got off the phone with his chief of staff. We're developing a pilot program to develop this bait. Once again, I have the formula. I know what the ratios are of the attractant, of the carrier, of the insecticide. It's 2 pounds per square mile. We'll get that up and running just as soon as possible. We're no longer waiting on the USDA to attack this problem. They are telling ranchers, if you have a screwworm, send it to us, let us identify it. If we identify it, we will quarantine your ranch. No one is reporting. There's no telling how many we have out there, but no one wants to report that they have a screwworm fly because you get quarantined, you get shut down. So that's counterproductive. We need to change that. Previously, if you turned one in, they would send you and drop sterile flies on your place or the fly bait. That's what we need to do. We don't need to be punishing people for reporting that they have the screwworm fly.
You know, I want to ask you a question about something we just heard Secretary Rollins say in the story before our interview, because it seems a little counterintuitive, and so I want you to explain to people. She said the pest does not cause any sort of food safety issue. It's not a disease, but it feeds on living tissue. You know, animals treated can recover, but this kind of seems counter to what we're hearing, that this is a threat to our ranchers.
Well, 2 points real quick. If you quarantine a dairy, you can't get the milk. If you quarantine a feedlot, you can't process the cattle coming out of that. But we think cattle, but it's all livestock, it's all wildlife. A lot of the cases reported most recently on the Texas border are dogs, they're pets, they're cats. Dogs with something as simple as a tick bite are getting infested with the screwworms. So check your pets. It's not just ranchers that are in peril. 275 human cases in Mexico, 2 deaths due to the screwworm fly. So any mammal, any of the 200 species of mammal in Texas are susceptible to this fly.
Yeah, it sounds much more serious, frankly, than the Secretary is making it seem to be. I also want to ask you, you know, State Representative Don McLaughlin said the fly was just a mile away from Texas on Monday. Secretary Rollins said he was well-intentioned but wrong, and then the next day the case was confirmed by the USDA. Do we have a breakdown in communication here?
Well, I've been in contact with Don McLaughlin, but before that announcement, he's exactly right. It was actually more than one case, so he was spot on. The Secretary, I think, owes Don an apology.
Wow. You know, what more do you want to see? You told us a little bit. You think they should be doing different action, different strategy. What's really your message to the USDA? What do you want to see them doing?
The message to solve this, use the program that you've solved it with before, the SWAS program, the fly bait. It's very safe. The results showed no harm to the environment. We can shut this down. If we shut it down, they won't get to spend their $750 million on a new fly facility. I guess that's what they're holding out for. But we need to shut it down now. We don't need 2.5 years Texas being infested with the screwworm fly.
What do you say to ranchers? You noted that they're not reporting it. They're feared that they could be shut down, if they're quarantined. What's your message to those farmers and ranchers and frankly, folk in South Texas, right, that also need to be watching out for themselves and their pets?
Well, they can do what I'm doing. We do have some good tools that we didn't have in the 70s and 80s, and that's anti-parasitic drugs like ivermectin, Dectomax. Use those. They're great preventative. They'll buy you some time so you don't have to check your livestock every day. Be careful of the time of year that you do castrations, dehorning, and docking. Try to put those off to the cool months. The most favorite place for a screwworm to hit cattle is an umbilical cord on a newborn calf. So if you're calving, check those calves, treat those navels with a fly repellent.
Right. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller, we thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us about this very serious issue. Thank you.
Texas will fix the problem. We'll get it.